So not looking too bad at all this weekend, Meg.
No, not at all. Okay, sounds good, Keisha. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Back now to the debt ceiling debate. Tuesday is the deadline to come up with an agreement, or else the government defaults on its debt. Joining us live now to talk about the weekend negotiations is Congressman Jim McDermott. Good morning, Congressman. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Meg.
So what happens today?
Well, today the Senate is going to be working on their proposal to send to the House. We sent one to them yesterday, the Boehner proposal. The Speaker sent his proposal, and it was rejected roundly last night, around midnight. And now the Senate is going to send their proposal to the House. And sometime around midnight, it'll be voted on in the Senate, and in Sunday we'll come in and deal with it. I think we're going to get to a resolution of this. It should have been resolved many, many months ago with a simple elevation of the debt limit, but they've made this into a big crisis as a way of showing the president is weak or can't run the government or whatever. So we're stuck with it now, and we'll resolve it before Tuesday.
What's the Senate proposal look like? How is it going to be different from Boehner's?
Well, first of all, the president and Harry Reid, Senator Reid, have both said it cannot allow for another vote between now and the election. This debt limit that we're going to do from the Senate will be one that takes us past the election, so we don't have this kind of chaos again between now and the election. That's probably the most important one. The second one is that the cuts that are made by Senator Reid's proposal do not affect Medicare, they do not affect Social Security, they do not affect the programs that affect people in the bottom parts of the economy or people who are desperately counting on a government check. I think that is the difference from the bill that Senator Reid has done and the one that Speaker Boehner has done.
All right, Congressman, how would a default, though, if there is no agreement by Tuesday, how would it affect people in our state? Because we're hearing about a lot of federal projects and a lot of federal workers who would be directly impacted here.
Yes. I went on the floor yesterday to announce how bad it was going to be if we had a default. The University of Washington, the City of Seattle, the County of King have all been notified by Moody's and Standard & Poor's that if there's a default, their program bond lending will go on to a watch list, which means they could easily be downgraded. Now, what does downgraded mean? That means you go from a AAA to a AA or whatever, and that means that your interest rate goes up when you borrow money. So when we lose our bond rating, the money it costs to borrow to build a new building at the University of Washington or the tunnel or the whatever the city or the county are building will cost more, which means the taxpayers will have to pay more. It is stupid that this has gotten to this point. We should simply pay our bills so we don't look like we're a country and cities and counties and universities that won't pay their bills. That's not the message to send to the world.
You realize that this looks bad, regardless of whether you're Democrat or Republican. Clearly, government is not working here, and people, voters, are fed up. I mean, you know, can people trust their government to work for them here, given what this has become?
Well, you know, Meg, that's really what this is all about. It is not about the debt limit. It's about reducing the size of government. And if you can make government look ineffective, then it's easy to reduce it. People say, well, what do we need government for? But the fact is you do need government. You need government to run the parks, to run the courts, to run the ferry system, to run everything. And if you weaken the people's belief that the government can effectively give these services, you really do serious damage to the society. I agree with you. I voted on the 1st of June to raise the debt limit cleanly. 2 months ago, I said, get this out of the way and let's get on with the question of how we spend money and how we deal with the debt.
All right. Well, yeah, a lot of people just want this to be done. Hopefully it will get done on time. Congressman, we appreciate your time. Congressman Jim McDermott joining us from Washington, D.C. this morning. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Up next, a cancer patient gets her wedding wish granted. Also, the new Smurfs movie, it's in theaters this weekend.